Hanok, if there's ever been a week that I really wanted to be there with you guys in Israel, it was this week. My memories of being there during the time of the Holocaust Memorial Day and also to the fallen soldiers. Those are tragic, difficult days. But then Memorial Day or Independence Day also. It's really I have to tell you, from my point of view, it was a roller coaster of emotions. I can't imagine what you were going through.
Wow. This week, having Yom HaZikaron on Memorial Day, um, starting Sunday night
Yeah.
through Monday night, and then immediately going into Yom HaAtzmaut. A couple of quick thoughts. First of all, the Memorial Day for our fallen soldiers and security personnel is always gut-wrenching. Wow. Thought I could control my emotions a bit better. There's an element of survivor's guilt that all of us in Israel are walking around with.
Yeah.
Wasn't just the ones that made it out of Nova. And I'll give you a quick story. Sunday, of course, I was up on the Harabai at the Temple Mount. And when I'm up there, I will talk to, the people that I'm ascending with, but generally I'm praying nonstop. And then I do my little minute on the mount, which is about 2 minutes. But I'm, someone told me to pray for my cousin or pray for my son or pray. Well,
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
honestly, it's not something that comes naturally to me, but I do. A buddy of mine from Modine who gave me a ride, is very chatty. And he starts talking to a woman police officer that's with us. He's never seen her before. And it turns out she's from Sderot.
Mm.
And she said that all of the police officers that were killed, there was an enormous amount, were her friends.
Wow.
And she told us, I had heard only a little bit about this, but there was a day trip that day. Israeli senior citizens, they were going from Sderot to the Dead Sea.
Mm.
They get on their bus at 6:30 in the morning, and there's a flat tire. Now, again, remember, it's Shabbat.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out how they're going to get someone to fix the flat tire. So they put them in the town library. And again, my mention of the timing of 6:30 in the morning should strike people.
Yeah.
Terrorists burst in, gunned down each and every single of the seniors that were there.
Oh.
Every single. So this police officer bursts in, you know, weapon in hand, and she's shouting, "Those who are alive, call out." She repeats it 3 times. Not a single voice. And so my buddy asked her, like, have you seen a therapist, a counselor? And she said, every single soldier, police officer, security personnel that has been involved has seen professional mental health help. 7 months into this, we now have a situation that every single one of those therapists and counselors and social workers are now seeing therapists, counselors,
Yeah.
and social workers of their own
Yeah.
to deal with their trauma.
Yeah.
So everything shuts down. 8 o'clock in the evening, there's a siren. There's another siren, 11 o'clock the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
All the places of entertainment are closed throughout the country. When the siren goes off, if someone's driving, they pull off to the side of the road and they stand there. The
Yes.
siren in the morning is 2 minutes long. I was in the gym that day trying to rehab, like all the king's horses and all the king's men trying to put Hanoch back together again. So there's no music. There's no music playing. And if you've ever been in a gym with a lot of people, maybe 70 in a small area. It's really weird. I mean, you hear the clanking of the weights, you hear the grunts, and nothing else.
Oh,
Yom Ha'atzmaut, or Independence Day. Now, and again, I've said this before, but it really bears it's worth repeating. Regular programming goes off the TV,
mm-hmm,
and for 24 hours they screen the
mm-hmm.
photo, name, and brief bio of every single fallen, everyone that's fallen. For 24 hours, you go to sleep, you get up, it's still going. From there, Yom Ha'atzmaut. Yom Ha'atzmaut to me is the day of greatest joy.
Yeah,
Until the temple is rebuilt, this is the day that's the greatest celebration of all. This is the day, I mean, in the prayer for the state of Israel, we refer to Israel as Reshit Smichat Geulatenu, the first flowering or beginning of our redemption. This is like the biggest day ever. No fireworks
yeah,
because of the fear of additional trauma
yeah.
for those who were evacuated, let alone our service personnel. So normally you hear car horns honking, teens making crazy noise, people going around bonking each other on the head with these little boingy things and
Yeah.
spraying stuff. It's really, and concerts throughout the country. The next day, Israeli Air Force flyovers. None of that
Nothing.
happened.
Yeah.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's a tremendous feeling of heaviness, which again is the perfect segue probably to the conflict between the Biden administration and the state of Israel. And it's the state of Israel, not the government of Israel, and not even Netanyahu. Biden has emboldened and encouraged Hamas.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that the timing that Hamas pulled away from the alleged negotiations to free at least some of the hostages, they've got time on their side. It has emboldened Hezbollah and Iran, and anyone like Saudi Arabia or Jordan or Egypt that was counting on America as an ally. Now, before someone writes me tonight and tells me, Hanoch, don't worry, Donald Trump is going to get reelected. Let's assume Trump gets reelected. Let's assume Trump does everything good for Israel. Understand something, boys and girls. He doesn't get sworn in until the third week in January.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 months from now. We're 7 months into this war. We don't depend on chariots and soldiers, and we don't depend on, that was a reference, of course, to Pharaoh. We don't rely on Donald Trump. Now, quick thing, and I'm trying in our updates to stay away from internal Israeli politics.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's frighteningly confusing to everybody.
Yeah.
And I mentioned names of people who may or may not even be running in the next elections. But about 2 weeks ago, Yossi Cohen, and the irony is that was Josephus's name,
Hmm.
Yosef HaKohen. So Yossi Cohen was our former head of Mossad. And he admitted that Netanyahu had arranged with Qatar to send millions of dollars to Hamas for educational and medical things in the hope of keeping them quiet. So that rumor was confirmed and proven true. That's a disaster. And he admits it was a mistake. Well, it's worse than a mistake. It's really it's frightening. So you've got all this going on simultaneously. And one of the people that I listen to and read everything he writes is retired Colonel Richard Kemp of the British Army. He was the guy in charge of British armed forces in Afghanistan.
Hmm.
This guy knows combat. And he said something, I just read it, and it startled me. And I said I had to mention this, and I know we've got other topics that we want to cover. The very exciting Israel summit coming up in Tennessee shortly. Um, Colonel Kemp said the following. He said, for those of us who've always wondered if we had been alive during the Shoah, during the Holocaust, what we would have done, we now know. He said there are those that support Hamas, or if you're more comfortable with the term, the Islamo-Nazis, who want to exterminate us. And I don't think there are very many listeners to our Israel update that are in that category. Then there's the other side of the spectrum of those who are doing everything they can for Israel and to support Jewish people who are in a far worse, Jews around the world are in a far worse situation,
Yeah.
far more dangerous situation than we are in Israel. And although he didn't describe this as the largest group, my experience and research indicate that this is the largest group. The people who are just sitting there, kind of, having their popcorn, watching it all play out.
Hmm.
And for me, that's the most devastating thing. And now a lot of people will make comments on posts that I put up on Facebook, and they will tell me that they are praying nonstop. I think that's fabulous. I truly believe it's fabulous. But I don't believe that's all that people can do. Now,
Hmm.
maybe, listen, I've said before, y'all need to be like Mike. People need to raise money for Israel. They may not have money themselves, but they have relatives, they have friends, they have church groups, they have fellowships. They can ask. But you know what? Nobody is telling me that they are busy sending emails. So the Biden administration says they're not going to send precision bombs to Israel,
Yeah.
which means we'll use the bombs that are not precise. Like, duh, crazy. Did people write to the White House? Did people write to their senators? Did people write to their, representatives in Congress? Maybe some did, maybe some didn't. There are more than 50 universities across America that are openly anti-Jewish, vehemently so. Many of them are publicly funded schools from your state university system. So people need to do more, and I'm not going to be so nice about it anymore.
Well,
And again, no one said I'm too nice about anything.
you talk about what can people do. It's interesting, and I want to go back to the first when I did the intro of lumping in the Shoah Memorial or Day
Yeah,
into that. But in my mind, these all go together because it's all about the redemption. And so,
yeah.
I know that was a different Memorial Day. Uh, Let me tell you something that was done, and this one you don't know anything about this, but a couple of young guys at our congregate at Life Assembly that you're very familiar with, when I was heading to Israel back in February, I said anybody wants to make a little drawing or whatever and send it to the IDF, I would be glad to take those. Well,
So
these two young boys that are now pretty famous in Israel in
yeah,
various places, they did that, and I went over and I took these with a specific amount of money also that had been given by them. and I gave them to a mutual friend. And I just received the email or a WhatsApp video. I think it was yesterday that they had put on a barbecue for one of the units there that's been down in Gaza, and this person was able to go down there and to not only take that little bit of money, it wasn't much, but to put that toward something within that barbecue, I think it was, but also took those little drawings of a tank, some words in English of we're praying for you or whatever. I can't really remember what they put on there,
It's
but
fabulous.
it
That's
was
amazing.
yeah,
So,
it
I mean,
was. So I got this
that's a
video
beautiful
of these
example.
soldiers, and Hanok,
Beautiful.
you could have given them $1 million, and the smile would not have been any bigger.
No, this is, there is a very strong sense that the majority of the world hates us,
Yeah.
and those who had been our friends are ignoring us.
Well,
Now, that's not everybody,
yeah.
obviously, but there's that strong sense every day. I mean, here it is. We had a contestant singing in Eurovision, and you'd swear we had declared war. I,
Oh
I I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's really unbelievable. This is, it here. There's a pithy slogan that says Yom HaZikaron, our Memorial Day, shows us the price
Hmm.
for having the state of Israel. And Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust Remembrance Day, shows us the price that we paid for not having a state of Israel.
Yeah. Um, true. So I want to issue a little challenge, and this one's gonna be another one that you're gonna have to be involved in. And so this just kind of came to me off the top of my head. You're going to be in the States pretty soon,
Yeah,
Bezrat Hashem, God
a
willing.
month from now. Yeah,
You're going to be in the States and you're going to be speaking at various places. And I would like to challenge those places, the people at those places that have children in their whatever kind of whatever they do there, okay? But you have small children, that you would have those children do some handwritten pictures, no
mhm,
witnessing stuff, none of that. Okay,
yeah.
just keep it simple. But they would go through and they would have their children do some pictures and give those to you. I know that you have so much extra room in your baggage
I knew
whenever
you
you're
were going to
here.
say that. That's right.
Okay. So, but I think you could probably find a little bit of room. If not,
I
I'll
can.
buy another suitcase and pay for it for you. Okay. But if there's that many, but I would like to see some people do this and to give some of these papers to
It's
drawings
wonderful.
to Hanok to take back and
I'd be happy to. I'd be
to
happy
give
to.
out to various places. So
It's just really, it's rare that people get to live at a time where history and destiny and the future all come rolled into one. And you hear that from, veterans
yeah,
of the Second World War, referred to as America's greatest generation. Um, Things are really, well, let's just say it's the time. And I'll give you a quick example. Someone asked me, did I think that my involvement ongoing with pushing for prayer rights on the Temple Mount was the way to go?
mm,
And I was going to write back facetiously saying, as opposed to what? Getting this broken body, in a uniform in Gaza? I mean, seriously? I mean, other than being the guy like, okay, Hanoch, we got to walk into this tunnel. We want to make sure it's not booby trapped. Would you go first? Okay. Rav Yehuda Glick, I was in touch with Rav Yehuda last night. He was just banned from the Temple Mount
Wow.
yesterday. It could be because I saw a video of him, and he's not a soft-spoken man.
No.
So he was loudly chanting the Hallel prayer, which we say on holidays. And, I wrote him, I said, was it relating to saying Hallel? And he wrote, probably. How long will this ban be? It could be a week. It could be up to 6 months.
Hmm.
This is a struggle. We need to, there was a demonstration yesterday that went down to the Gaza border, calling for the reestablishment of Jewish communities in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Just to short circuit comments, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. And what's astounding is the people now were saying, this is going to be ongoing terrorism in Gaza, as we fight in Rafiah, as we fight in Khan Yunis, as we fight in Gaza City. I got to tell you something. People don't remember this. In 2005, the proponents of the Hitnatkut, the disengagement, where Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza, their whole argument is we would be losing IDF soldiers to protecting 9,000 Israeli citizens living in Gaza. So we left, and they created an underground terrorists' haven. And that's what we're fighting against.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, on this side of the pond, Hanok, it's been some interesting things happen. I was in touch with someone actually on Shabbat morning and received the notice that the Israel summit in Nashville, Tennessee, had been well, not the summit, but the venue,
Yeah.
the what was the name? The hotel there, I can't remember the name. Irrelevant in my mind at the moment, but they had canceled. Now, the backstory of this is that just a few days prior to Hayavel, the Israel guys, those involved had contacted the hotel and had said, okay, there's some stuff going on. What are you thinking? They're like, no, we're fine, we're fine. And Shabbat morning, the cancellation notice came through. A legal contract that was signed by the hotel and by Hayavel was broken by the hotel because of threats. Now, I have on my phone, I showed those to a couple of people this past Shabbat. I have on my phone screenshots of some of the things that were out there on the web from all these different pro-Hamas organizations that I could, there was no way I could read them publicly.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, the Tommy and the Waller family and those that are involved, Luke Hilton, who, interesting enough, was sitting right here 2 weeks ago at my desk, and I did an interview with him. That's available on my website, and this is prior to all this stuff going on. So people can go to my website and be glad to get them a CD or MP3 of that. They can go to the little donation button there. But so they picked on the wrong family here, a family that doesn't back down for anything. And I can announce to you, for anybody that doesn't know, here's what I received. This is from Dave Ramsey, somebody that Hanok and I know personally because of our great wealth and financial. Oh no, that was a different program I was talking about. It says, you are welcome to announce that we are moving the event to our friends at Ramsey Solutions. Ramsey Solutions is proud to stand beside our friends from Israel by providing them a safe place to hold their event as our gift to them.
Wonderful. Baruch Hashem. Thank God.
So, the Sonesta Hotel, actually is what it is offering 100% refunds on hotel rooms. If you book through a third party, I'm not sure if that's going to help or not, but I would not step foot in the Sonesta hotel chain or anybody that's involved with them.
Agreed.
But so was really not planning to go to the summit, but I have my ticket, and so
It's
I'm going to
great.
be there, Bezrat Hashem, God willing, on Monday, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a great event. I would ask for people to begin to pray for safety for that event. To think that this group that is just going to go, oh well, we shut down a hotel, no big deal. But it has been taken now from a slightly more liberal county to a very conservative county of in Franklin, Tennessee, and I'm just kind of thinking that they're not going to be putting up with anything there. So yeah, just saying.
That
If
sounds
anybody
great.
wants to attend, and I think we should pack out that room. It's a large event center, very beautiful. I've got the pictures of it. Then go to theisraelguys.com, I think it is, and can go on. It's $150. Sign up for the complete event. That's including a concert, which I'll probably be out talking to somebody during that time. There's also a dinner at the end of it, but I'm just going for the main event. So I think $150 to attend this whole thing is, and I really don't care who's speaking. Okay, okay, it doesn't matter to me. We're there to make a stand, prove our stand, whatever it is.
Amen. That sounds great.
Yeah. So wrap it up.
Well, boys and girls, now's the time. Look yourselves in the mirror and say, when you're standing on your personal Yom Hadin, your day of judgment, if the video of this era in history and your involvement or lack of involvement comes up on the screen, are you going to stand there and smile and say, yep, that was me?
Yeah.
Or are you going to look for a place to hide? No more hiding.
Yeah. At the same time, Hanok, I do want to announce one more thing, is that in about 20 minutes, I'll be on the air doing a recording with Barry Phillips, Foundations for Life. And we're going to be discussing the concept that I put out, that I thought about the other day, that during the Shoah, there were people like Dietrich Bonhoeffer. But for every Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and if people don't know who Bonhoeffer is, they need to know. For every
Yeah, look
Dietrich
it up.
Bonhoeffer, there was also a Ten Boom family.
Yeah.
And if Bonhoeffer could have walked by the Ten Boom watch shop and said, well, that bunch is not doing anything, they're no good, the Ten Boom family could have said, well, that guy's a big blowhard. Both of them ended up, Bonhoeffer in a prison, the Ten Booms in a concentration camp, but both did what they were supposed to do in that day. And
Yeah.
we need to be doing what we're supposed to do and not
Absolutely.
judging what it appears someone is doing or not doing. And so that's going to be a conversation with Barry and myself in just a few minutes.
Sounds great.
All
Send
right.
my regards.
Yeah, will do.
Take
Will
care,
do.
Mike.
All right.
Be
Be
strong.
safe.
Bye.